Well, hello everyone. Welcome again to this week's Snippets micro message. My name is Margaret Burk with the Gate Church. Happy Monday. Here we are again. It has been a chilly weekend, and so far kicking this week off very chilly as well here in Jacksonville, Florida. My goodness gracious, I'm actually wearing a heavy sweater. So usually I have sleeveless or short sleeves or whatever. So anyway, I hope you all are staying warm out there. And I'm just going to jump into my message. I think really honestly, it is so on my heart. I talked about it at church on Sunday as well. I have so much to say about this. So I am going to just do a snippet on it about, really stepping into your calling prophetically and why the school matters. Because, people may he and ha kind of go back and forth on, oh, should I go? Should I go? Is it only for prophets? Or, what do I need it for? And quite honestly, Acts 2 says that the Lord, he poured out his spirit upon all flesh, that part of that was that you would prophesy. So no longer is it just the Old Testament prophets, but now with the spirit of the Lord in us, the spirit of God in us, we can all prophesy. But how does that work? And how do you do it? And how do you hear? And what is the prophetic? And how does it operate today? So many questions people probably have, but either can't get answers because they don't know who to ask, or are afraid to ask, or don't know what kind of questions to ask, if I didn't already say that. But so that's why the school matters. So this may seem like a plug, and it probably is a little bit, but it's only because I myself have been through these schools. I have worked alongside Louis D. Sienna. I have been in his schools and participated as a student for many, many years. And I can tell you, it is such an enlightening and revelatory course that you will definitely walk away understanding or walking in more of the prophetic than you ever have. Because if you come and you engage, you're going to have a big, I would say, a experience and an activation and the ability to sit under someone who has done this for years and years and years. So a little bit of history here that may help you. I was saved in 2003, and just a complete conversion at the time. I thought I was a Christian because, I thought I believed in Jesus, but I never had a real encounter. And that changed my whole life, like immediately changed my life. And when I say immediately, not completely, just changed my life immediately. And so I want to get that straight, because there's a lot of, you're saved, you're being saved, and one day you'll be completely saved. In other words, experiencing the completion of the fullness. And so in 2003, I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know what I should know. And I certainly was not churched. So I had really a pretty blank canvas, a really non-grid for Christianity, except for some, preconceived ideas. And as I walked in, just the love of God, I was involved in a very evangelistic church. And I was having experiences like dreams, or I'd hear words, or I would start writing things as music was playing, worship music, and it was all exhortation. It was all edification. It was all really not something I could even think up. And I feel like that prophetically was happening to me, but there was no place I could go to get answers. And so obviously the Lord had a plan, and I got invited to a home group meeting by some friends, and I knew them fairly well, not real well, but I was excited to, know about this prophet that was coming. And so as soon as I came through the front door, we had some worship time, and I'm getting prophesied over. And then my friends, of course, they step up and they're prophesying over me too. And I was like, I was undone. I was totally like, the power of God hit me. I was out on the floor. So thankfully they recorded it. And I will tell you that it was so enlightening, and so much of it has really literally come to pass. It really just changed my whole trajectory, and it was so helpful to me because now I could get answers. And it wasn't just that I could get answers from somebody, but I could learn to find the answers. I could learn how to engage God through His Word or through prayer or whatever. I was being trained how to hear God for myself. But along the way, having some guidelines and help and feedback and all of those things, so essential. Now, this is 2003, and it was probably 2003 that I went on my, went to my first courses in the prophetic, and Louis D. Sienna was teaching the School of the Prophets. And he used a really large curriculum. It was out of Bill Hammond's stream, and I'll say stream just because that seems to be something people recognize. And he's a very well-known prophet. And but he hears differently than, say, like a Kim Clement or some of the other prophets today. I don't want to like Chris Valentin, et cetera, et cetera. So I was just intrigued, and I really felt like I had found like my home, that people could understand me. And I didn't think that I was just like, wow, what do I do with this? And being so new, you just end up probably keeping most of this to yourself until you have somebody you can talk to about it. And there was just multitudes of people who knew and understood the prophetic. And then there's multitudes that don't. And so it really trained me up, and I had given a gift of helping to interpret dreams. So I went into, if you're familiar with John Paul Jackson, who is now passed into eternity with the Jesus, he had streams ministry, and I took all their courses on dreams. And James Gall did a dream language course. I took all of that. All of this training was just filling my spiritual understanding. It was helping me, gave me guidelines, but my firm foundation and has been Lewis's teachings. And through those teachings, he has developed his training over the years. Now it's 2025. I don't know how many schools I've either sat in on or participated in teaching in over the course of those years. And each time I glean something more. And I still have so much to learn. I know that Lewis is always getting more revelation. So it will be wonderful to see people getting engaged with the prophetic, because it is for us. It is for us. And like I was saying on Sunday, the primary purpose for prophecy is edification, exhortation, and comfort for the church body. And wow, we certainly need that. And also just honestly, you can talk to people. If God directs you somewhere, people use the prophetic evangelism as becoming a real prominent gifting, and where you can go out and God will give you a word about somebody, and it edifies them. It goes, I'm not alone in this. I know now that there is a God who is involved in my life, and it brings encouragement, hope, and comfort to people to know the Lord. And so I say all that to say this, we're having this school. It starts tomorrow night at 7. And I would encourage you, if you've never experienced the prophetic at all, if you've always wondered about it, it is part of the fivefold ministry. It is part of the gifts that Jesus gave unto men. And that was some apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, pastors, and teachers for the equipping of the saints for the works of ministry. That has not stopped. It did not stop. We still have apostles today. We still have prophets today. And do you know why? Because we have not come to the full stature of the measure of Christ. We have not come to that. It says until we come into the full stature and measure the fullness of Christ. We are not there. So we still need all the fivefold because we haven't reached the until. And so I would so encourage you to get this time set aside. It is live, so it is in person, and that means that you are going to be able to ask questions. You're going to get impartation. You're going to be able to engage and activate and all of these things, starting on a firm foundation. And Lewis has got such a in-depth way of teaching this that is going to be foundational, not just the surface, just working with the gifting. It's going to be working with the foundation of that gifting, giving you solid foundation on it. And, because so many people, they have extraordinary gifts that are wonderful and beautiful. They just don't know how to operate in them. They don't know the biblical truth foundation of them. And so that's really, really necessary to have some guidance and, some help with that. And in learning and growing, it is just so, anymore, I'm sure there's just a bad taste out there just because of the things that are going on that are being publicized. And, but we cannot lose the hope in the gift of prophecy because there's a few people that did it wrong. And quite honestly, I don't know, this is where accountability and guidance and correction can be helpful when somebody really gets to know you and know how you operate prophetically. Like we have a team at our church that I just happen to know how certain people hear from God. And so when if I'm up there and I'm prophetically moving and I'm always open, I'm always searching to see if somebody else has something else because I'm not the only one. He's speaking to the body. And I will see somebody that is like, he's got something or she's got something. And I'll ask them, you have something? And they may, hopefully they'll say yes because they will actually step into it. And there's several people that I can just go, I know how they hear from God. We have relationship. So I know I could trust that person to hand on the mic to give this information to the entire body. And quite honestly, it is about that. It's about learning how to hear. It's also about learning how to take correction, how to bring some guidance, maybe back to a word that was spoken out, maybe give it a little bit more, focus or bring it in just a little bit. Sometimes people get really general or maybe out in the fray a little bit. And so it's always wise to have somebody mature or more mature, shall I say, to bring these things back in and kind of reiterate. So there's that as well. There's so much to learn in all of this, but it is all so very good because God gave us these giftings. He gave us the Spirit to be able to be led by the Spirit, to live life in the Spirit, to communicate and hear God. So please do yourself a favor. If you have not already, I think we have a registration online it might be under Louis D. Sienna Ministries, so check there first. And it probably, more than likely, is on the Gate Church Facebook page that you can go in there, click in there, and register, or at least find out all the information where we're meeting. It's at UNF, 7 o'clock. Starts tomorrow night, Tuesday nights at 7, and it will be amazing. We've got several people very interested. People are signing up. I believe there's still room for more people. If we need to, we can get a larger room. But right now, just come in and get yourself registered, sit down, be ready, take notes, ask questions. It's going to be a great time. And I say this out of experience. It is good teaching and good activations, good impartation. And if you haven't realized, if you need that, I think everybody does, this is your opportunity. This is your time. And so again, Louis DeCiana is going to be teaching at Gate Church Senior Leader, and it's going to be an amazing time. I don't want to make it sound like, oh, it really will help you. Let's just put it that way. It will bring you more than you have now. If you already are moving in the gifts, it will give you an opportunity to flow in them more. It will give you opportunity to prophesy over people you may not know. That's always good to exercise the gift. It's so important. So, if you have questions, you can drop some notes at the Gate Church in the Gate Church Facebook page, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. So please do consider it. I'm going to be there, and it's going to be awesome. And so that's what I have to share tonight. I really hope it encourages you. If you know somebody who wants to flow in the prophetic, learn more about the prophetic, be activated in the prophetic, tell them to come. So I encourage you to do that. So I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. I am heading out for the rest of my evening. So I will sign off for now. And until next time, bye for now. God bless.